Hello, thank you for joining us on the news tonight. In our headlines, military intercepts foreign terrorist drug supplier. NDLEA arraigns drug baron, free Mexicans over 480 billion naira meth lab. Governor Fubara presents 1.85 trillion naira 2026 budget to Rivers Assembly. On the foreign scene, Spain wildfires kill 12, leave 19 missing. In sport, Commonwealth Games gold medalists to receive $3,000. I am Princess. AKZ, now details of the news. Report just reaching us says the pupils and teachers abducted in Orire local government area of Oyo State have regained their freedom. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Naraga, confirmed the development in a post on his verified X handle on Friday, announcing that the victims had been released by their abductors. Authorities are yet to disclose the circumstances surrounding the release, including whether any ransom was paid. We'll bring you more details as the story develops.
Hello, sir. Our Father, we are grateful. The President, sir, we are grateful. We understand your commitment to our safety, and we appreciate all you did for us. We could see your hand. Thank you very much. And every security operative, they tried so much, and that is why we are still alive now. We are very grateful to you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. God bless you, sir. We are so grateful.
Troops of Sector 3 Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Adbn has intercepted a suspected foreign drug courier and recovered a large consignment of illicit drugs and other prohibited substances allegedly meant for terrorists operating in the Lake Chad Islands. The suspect was arrested during an operation in Kwatandoran Baga, Kukawa local government area of Borno State, while allegedly transporting the items to the terrorists. The acting military information officer of Operation Adbn, Captain Mohammed Goni, said the recovered items included 7 compressed bundles of suspected cannabis sativa weighing about 30 kilograms, 2 10-liter containers of hydromercuric chloride, alcoholic beverages, and other prohibited substances. Security operatives also recovered a mobile phone, 2 automated teller machine cards, personal effects, and cash as investigations continue. The Joint Task Force Operation Adbn says several suspected Islamic State West Africa province ISWAP terrorists have been killed during a failed attack on a military base in Borno State. The insurgents attempted to overrun the forward operating base at Logomani in Ngala local government area, but were met with fierce resistance from troops, forcing the surviving attackers to retreat. The media information officer of Operation Adbn, Captain Mohammed Goni, said the terrorists briefly breached a section of the base's defensive perimeter before troops regrouped and launched a counteroffensive that inflicted heavy casualties on the attackers. He said 1 soldier paid the supreme price, while 2 gun trucks and some combat equipment were damaged during the encounter. He added that the situation has since been brought under control, with reinforcement deployed to the area. Senator representing Borno South Ali Ndume has urged President Bola Tinubu to speak directly to Nigerians instead of relying solely on a spokesperson. Ndume made the call after a meeting with the president at the State House in Abuja. He said Nigerians needed to hear directly from their leaders, especially amid the current economic challenges facing the country. The lawmaker disclosed that he raised the issue during his meeting with President Tinubu, who assured him that the concern will be considered.
Welfare of citizens, like cost of petrol, foodstuff, transportation, of course. We have all it takes. It's just that we need to coordinate it. And once it's being coordinated, and once even Nigerians see the effort of the government, they normally appreciate it. And that's what I told Mr. President, that we should reach out. Another aspect that I advised and he promised to look into is to speaking to Nigerians. Nigerians would expect that your leader will tell you what is going on, how is, instead of other people talking on behalf of Mr. President.
On insecurity, Ndume described the situation as Nigeria's biggest challenge, warning that the threat has spread beyond the northeast to other parts of the country. He stressed the need for a coordinated national response to tackle the growing security crisis.
You know that the issue of insecurity is our greatest concern in this country now. It used to be in the northeast alone. It went to south, north central, northwest, and even now southwest. We had a residual issue of insecurity with IPOPs in the northeast and in the southeast. Now, even though you could see these days that it has been controlled, the southeast issue is not as before. And that is one other area that we need to actually commend those that are involved, particularly the CNC, that is the president.
The Nigerian Air Force now has recorded another milestone in its fleet modernization program following the successful completion of a factory acceptance test, FAT, for an additional 3 AW109 Tracker Type B helicopters at the Leonardo Helicopters facility in Vajadate, Italy. According to a statement signed by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigeria Air Force Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, the acceptance exercise was conducted from June 29 to July 3, 2026 by a delegation made up of representatives of the Nigeria Air Force and the Ministry of Defense. The statement explains that the exercise reflects the federal government's sustained commitment to strengthening Nigeria's air power capabilities and enhancing the operational readiness of the armed forces to address evolving security challenges. The statement adds that the Nigerian delegation carried out comprehensive inspections and flight evaluation to confirm that the helicopters met all contractual specifications and operational requirements ahead of their delivery to Nigeria. The Oyo State Police Command has arrested 2 suspects over the 2023 murder of a man identified simply as Shegun during communal violence along the Oyo-Osun border. Police spokesperson DSP Olayinka Ayalande, who briefed journalists in Ibadan, said one of the suspects, Rabiu Yusuf, allegedly killed the victim during the crisis and buried him in a shallow grave to conceal the crime. He added that the victim's mobile phone was thrown into a river while his motorcycle was allegedly sold. Investigators said the case was uncovered after Yusuf was recently arrested for allegedly shooting another person during a renewed communal clash in the same area.
This was one of the several achievements we've recorded in the last few months. This case has been, of course, it's one of the cases we've been investigating for quite some time now. If you can recall, sometimes in 2023 there was a communal crisis between Yanagbo and some other community, bordering in between Oyo State and Osun State, close to Iwo there. This individual was killed in the year 2024 by this suspect here you can see, and they killed the said man, shot him and hid his body. They buried him at the shallow grave in one of the places.
Ìgbà tí wọ́n ti ń gba gbogbo lẹ́bọ̀ láti ibi tó jẹ́ boundary lọ́hùn, ibi tó jẹ́ ọ̀dọ̀ tèmi mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan wí pé sọ́dọ̀ tí wọ́n ó lé ní nǹkan bíi 4 kilometres. Àwọn àtàn tí ń gba gbogbo lẹ́bọ̀ tán wá rí bàbá tí ó wà ní ọ̀dọ̀ wa ń bí tí ó jẹ́ bàbá àsàlẹ̀ wọn tí mò ń sọ yẹn, Sunday Ògúnọlá yẹn. Bàbá yẹn ó ti fún ọ ní oríṣiríṣi ọwọ́ wí pé èmi ni ò lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n rí àdúgbò ọ̀dọ̀ wa ń bẹ̀ yẹn gbà so now fi target mi wípé dandan àwọn máa pa mí kó ńbẹ̀ ni àwọn máa pa mí kó ńbẹ̀ ni tán bá pa mí àwọn máa gba gbogbo àdúgbò wa so wọ́n wá ká mi mọ́ ní on the 25 oṣù wọ́n wá ká mi mọ́ ní on the 25 oṣù kẹfà yẹn àwọn tán wá ká mi mọ́ yẹn pumping gun ni wọ́n gbé dání àwọn méje ni wọ́n tó méje tán wá ká mi mọ́ jọ yẹn mo dẹ̀ sí ń bọ̀ láti ìgboro báyìí tí mo wọnú abúlé mi tí mo bọ́ aṣọ lẹ̀ tí mo wọ aṣọ oko eléyìí tó wà lọ́rùn mi yìí ìgbà tí mo bọ́ aṣọ lẹ̀ tí mo wọ aṣọ eléyìí mo wá gbé mẹ́sìn mi pé kí n lọ páàkì ẹ̀ sí inú gbóǹbi tá a máa ń tọ́jú ẹ̀ sí tó dùn ọ̀jẹ̀ ká páàkì máa ṣèṣì gbòòrò gbangba mọ́ wọ́n ti sọ gbogbo àdúgbò di ahéré so mo wá gbé mẹ́sìn mi bí mo ti wá gbé mẹ́sìn náà báyìí mo ti ní kí àwọn ọmọ mi máa lọ sínú oko kan lọ máa wa ẹ̀gẹ́ nínú oko bì kan èmi wá gbé mẹ́sìn pé kí n lọ páàkì ẹ̀ sí inú igbó ibi tí mo máa páàkì ẹ̀ sí.
The suspect, however, denied the allegation, claiming he acted in self-defense after the deceased allegedly attacked him during the crisis.
Like I rightly said, suspects will always have every suspect have a defense for their actions. However, all possibilities will be checked. Investigation will be thoroughly conducted. We, of course, verify his claims as to see what's actually happened. But as I can tell you, for someone who killed another individual and buried him at a shallow grave, sold his motorcycle, throw his phone into the river and do some other thing to cover up his tracks, that speaks volume of his action.
The police say investigations are ongoing and the suspect will be charged in court upon conclusion of the investigation. Authorities are also pledged to sustain security patrols in the affected border communities to prevent further communal violence. Away from that, the Delta State Police Command has arrested and arraigned 3 suspects over the alleged torture of a resident in Emevo community, Soko North local government area. Police say the action followed the viral video showing the victim being allegedly assaulted by a community leader and members of a local vigilante group. Commissioner of Police CP Yemi Oyeniyi ordered an immediate investigation, which was reinforced by a petition from human rights activists. Investigators allege that on July 5, 2026, the suspect and others still at large abducted the victim and took him to a hotel in a Emevo community where he was allegedly assaulted, humiliated, inflicted with injuries, and threatened with death. Following the investigation, police arrested the chairman of Emevo community, Lucky Okiremu, alongside Okiemute Oyibo and Carol Akamakusi. The suspects have since been arraigned on charges including conspiracy, assault, occasioning harm, conduct likely to cause a breach of the peace, and threatening the life of the victim. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arraigned a 63-year-old alleged drug baron and not Chile innocent alongside 3 American nationals and 6 other Nigerians before the Federal High Court in Lagos over the alleged operation of a clandestine methamphetamine laboratory in Ogun State. According to the NDLEA, the suspect operated a hidden methamphetamine laboratory in Mowe, Ijebu East local government area, where over 2,400 kilograms of illicit drug valued at more than 480 billion naira were allegedly produced. The defendants pleaded not guilty to an 11-count charge bordering on conspiracy, illegal drug production, and drug trafficking. Justice Musa Kakaki remanded the defendants in a Lagos correctional facility and adjourned the case to July 16 and July 22 for trial and hearing of their bail applications. NDLEA Chairman Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, described the case as one of the agency's biggest crackdowns on industrial-scale narcotics production in Nigeria. The Edo State Police Command has announced a statewide restriction of movement ahead of the July 11 local government council elections. The restriction will be enforced from 12 midnight to 3 p.m. on Saturday to ensure a peaceful, orderly, and secure electoral process. The command said the restriction is aimed at protecting voters, electoral officials, and sensitive materials while preventing any breakdown of law and order during the polls. Only officials of the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission accredited election observers, duly accredited media personnel, security agencies, emergency responders, and other essential service providers on election duty will be exempted from the restriction. The Commissioner of Police, Monday, Adbn, urged residents to comply with the directive and conduct themselves peacefully. He assured the public that adequate security personnel have been deployed across the 18 local government areas to ensure a free, fair, peaceful and credible election, warning that anyone who violates the restriction or disrupts the electoral process will face the full wrath of the law. Still in Edo, Governor Monday Bebolo's nomination of an Igbo community as commissioner designate is drawing fresh reactions, with members of the Igbo community describing the move as a landmark in Edo State's political history. The development is strengthening the administration's message of inclusive governance as traders and community leaders pledge continuous support for the governor's development agenda.
For decades, many members of the Igbo community in Edo State say they have contributed to the state's economy without representation at the highest level of government. They now believe that narrative is changing. Following the nomination of businessman and community leader Martin Oli as commissioner designate, traders across major markets in Benin City say the appointment reflects Governor Bebolo's commitment to inclusive governance and recognition of every community's contribution to Edo's development.
Bebolo has done very, very well. Because of him, we are going to look further to the federal. We are going to consider the federal.
Benin since 1972. Now the first time I heard that they make an Igbo man a commissioner in Edo State here. And in fact, I'm very happy. And with this, I didn't belong to APC, but because of this, I will go to APC. I will now be APC member, even from today.
During an awareness campaign ahead of the local government elections, traders also commended the governor's effort in improving security and infrastructure, saying the improved business environment has restored confidence among residents.
So as far as we are concerned as the chairman and Igbo in the Owelu Motors papers, we are fully in support of everything that is concerning the APC government, and we are very thankful to Owelu government.
Commissioner designates Martin Oli urged members of the Igbo community to remain committed to the administration, describing his nomination as evidence that the government rewards competence and promotes unity across ethnic divides.
This government is about inclusiveness. This is government of the people. Senator Okpebolo is showing oneness, is showing one Nigeria, not only saying it, he's demonstrating it. So I am happy, and you can see that my people are happy. We are at Owelu's papers, where you can see people jubilating that their brother, one of their illustrious sons, have been appointed commissioner.
As Edo continues to promote inclusive governance, the growing support from diverse communities reflects a broader effort to strengthen social cohesion and ensure that development is driven by participation rather than ethnicity, reinforcing the state's vision of unity, shared prosperity, and sustainable growth. In Edo State, Favor Osazua, Adbn News.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has presented a 1.85 trillion naira 2026 appropriation bill tagged Budget of Resilience for Growth and Development to the Rivers State House of Assembly. Governor Fubara said the proposed budget represents a 24.49% increase over the 2025 budget, attributing the growth to improve FAC allocations and sustain economic expansion. He disclosed that the budget will be funded through internally generated revenue, Federation account allocations, and capital receipts. The governor proposed 413.1 billion naira for recurrent expenditure, including provisions for worker salaries, recruitment, pensions, gratuities, insurance, and overhead costs for ministries, departments and agencies. Governor Fubara also announced a 50% increase in overhead allocation to MDAs to cushion rising operational costs and facilitate the payment of outstanding salary arrears owed to civil servants. Residents of Abak local government area in Akwa Ibom State have benefited from a series of empowerment programs designed to boost small businesses, improve transportation and support livelihoods. The initiative formed part of a constituency briefing and distribution of empowerment materials facilitated by the Speaker of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly and member representing Abak State constituency, Right Honorable Udeme Otong at Abak Ntenge. Adbn correspondent David Asong reports.
Commerce has received a major boost in Abak local government area following the distribution of empowerment equipment facilitated by Right Honorable Udeme Otong.
The Speaker is giving his people.
Declaring the event open, Chairman of the occasion, Honorable Uwe Mudoma, alongside the Chairman of Abak local government area, Honorable Ime Charles, commended the Speaker for keeping faith with his promises to the people.
Mr. Speaker, I'm also for them from here.
Medium road. I'm talking about hospital roads to Pepsi Junction.
Stakeholders from Adbn Senatorial District, as well as members of the House of Assembly, appreciated the developmental strides of the Right Honorable Speaker.
Strategic empowerment remains one of the most effective pathways to sustainable development through the provision of skills, tools, and financial support to constituents.
We are proud that today you've decided to give back to your people. It is not the first time, it is not the second time, it is not the third time, neither is it the fourth time, but we know you will continue to give back to your people.
Addressing his constituents, Right Honorable Udeme Otong stated that he has brought projects aimed at improving socio-economic well-being of his constituents.
We have over 358 beneficiaries of today's empowerment, ranging from minibus, from tricycle, from motorcycle, from barbie kits.
Governor of Akwa Ibom State, represented by his deputy, Senator Akoni Yaranye, applauded the cordial relationship witnessed between the executive and the legislature.
A legislator must work hard to bring home the bacon. Doing so represents the hallmark of effective representation he had advised.
Highlight of the event was the symbolic presentation of cash gifts, cars, minibuses, cargo tricycles, hairdressing equipment, generators, among others.
I am a farmer.
He's a man that is accessible, very simple, and care for his people. So I really appreciate him, and I will ask God to always bless him, bless his family.
David Isong, Adbn News.
The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says the completion of critical infrastructure at the Wasa informal sector layout has cleared the way for the long-awaited relocation of traders, artisans and mechanics from their Pole Mechanic Village. Represented by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, at the commissioning of roads, electricity and water facilities in Abuja, the President said the project reflects his administration's commitment to supporting the informal sector and boosting economic growth.
This infrastructure belongs to you. I urge you to protect it, maintain it, and use it as a foundation to scale up your businesses and create wealth and generate employment of our teeming youth. To all Nigerians, I'm deeply aware of the current economic realities across our nation. As your president, I feel your pain, I hear your concerns, and I carry the weight of your daily struggles.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, said the project demonstrates the government's resolve to implement agreements reached with stakeholders, noting that the relocation process began shortly after the administration assumed office.
I told you that this promise Mr. President is making will be fulfilled. And you also told us that when he does that, you will also fulfill the agreement. So, now that he has done his own, will you fulfill your own agreement? Now you are not shouting loud again. Though. So let me hear you finally. Will you fulfill your own agreement?
Wike urged members of the Upper Mechanic Traders Association to resolve outstanding internal issues and work with the FCT administration to ensure a smooth relocation to the Wase site. You're watching Adbn News at 7. We'll be right back with more stories after this break. Welcome back. The National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, has intensified efforts to strengthen collaboration with key government institutions to enhance identity management and accelerate Nigeria's digital transformation. As part of the initiative, the Commission held strategic engagement with the Federal Ministries of Finance, Education, Industry, Trade and Investment, as well as the Corporate Affairs Commission, to explore the integration of the National Identification Number, NIN, into public service delivery. The National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, has expanded the use of the National Identification Number, NIN, to strengthen transparency in government intervention programs. As the federal government distributes 2.15 million bags of free fertilizer to smallholder farmers through the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, NIMC has been tasked with verifying genuine farmers and agribusiness owners to eliminate leakages. A strategic meeting at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture focused on developing a farmer verification platform and an intervention monitoring dashboard to improve the efficiency of agricultural support programs. Our correspondent reports.
Delivering his welcome address, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, reiterated the need to create a verified database for the over 40.2 million agricultural households in the country in order to be able to track the impact of the federal government's farm interventions.
We all know that agriculture is the largest employer of labor, whether it's subsistence or for entrepreneurship. But by and large, what we have started with NIMC was we are looking to leverage on your expertise to have a verifiable data, a farmer and farmland registry.
Responding, Engineer Bisoye Kokau Dushate, DG NIMSI, described agriculture as one of Nigeria's most strategic sectors, as she noted that integrating the National Identification Number NIN into agricultural programs would help improve accountability, reduce fraud, and eliminate ghost beneficiaries, while ensuring that scarce public resources are directed to the farmers who genuinely need them.
Nigeria is blessed. We are a blessed nation. We are lucky that everything we need to survive, God has provided us with. And starting in the areas of food. First Lady has been promoting the farm to table. And it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey on that since she's coming as First Lady. She's been speaking about how to encourage more people to grow their own food.
The partnership is expected to deepen the Renewed Hope Farm Input Support Program as it ensures last-mile access to locally produced fertilizers and hybrid seedlings for priority crops like rice, maize, cassava, and soybeans.
Well, high points of the engagements were focused on statistics to back the actual farmers on ground. As the National Bureau of Statistics reports that the Nigerian farming population is well above 40.2%, with most of these farmers small household farmers. The Honourable Minister demanded that NIMSI upskills its data verification system to be able to identify the farmers and come up with a database to monitor progress in terms of government interventions and how it scales up to measurable progress. From the nation's capital, Bito Brian, Adbn News.
The Arawa Consultative Forum, ACF, has endorsed the establishment of the Northern Nigeria Security Trust Fund, describing it as a major step towards tackling terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other violent crimes across the region. In a statement by Chairman of its Board of Trustees, Bashir Dalhatu, the forum said the trust fund will complement the efforts of the federal government and security agencies by strengthening intelligence gathering, surveillance, logistics, and community-based security initiatives. The ACF also congratulated the newly inaugurated board of the trust fund, led by co-chairman, former secretary to the government of the Federation, Mahmoud Yayale Ahmed, and former Chief of Defense Staff General Martin Luther Agwai, retired, expressing confidence in their leadership. The forum urged the 19 northern governors to provide sustained political support for the initiative, stressing that the fund must be professionally managed to restore peace, protect lives, and promote economic development across the region. Elsewhere, the House of Representatives has moved to address concerns over national security and public health, condemning the reported incursion of Cameroonian soldiers into Nigerian territory, while advancing a bill to regulate the nutrition profession. Lawmakers adopted a motion of urgent public importance on the alleged incursion into Danere community in Boki local government area of Cross River State. Sponsor of the motion, Honorable Victor Bang, described the incident as a violation of Nigeria's territorial integrity and called for enhanced border security.
Worried that it is an egregious violation of the tenets of international law for the Cameroonian armed forces to make such incessant, unauthorized incursion into the territory of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Such action offends the principle of territorial sovereignty, a cornerstone of customary international law codified in the UN Charter, which prohibits the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity of any state.
Security, nutrition. The House, urged the federal government to strengthen security along the border, establish a forward operating base in the affected community, and refer the matter to the Committees on Defense and National Security and Intelligence. In a separate development, the House considered a bill seeking to establish the Nutritionist Registration Council of Nigeria. Chairman of the House Committee on Nutrition and Food Security, Honorable Chike Okafo, said the proposed law would regulate the profession, curb quackery, and strengthen efforts to address malnutrition and food insecurity.
The Nutritionist Registration Council remains vital for the entire spectrum of a community and public health nutrition, ensuring maternal and child nutrition, food and nutrition policy, academic nutrition, research and program implementation, among many others.
The bill has passed the relevant legislative stage and will proceed to further consideration by the House. Despite existing legal protections, millions of Nigerians living with disabilities continue to face barriers to education, healthcare, transportation, employment, and other essential services. The Executive Secretary of the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, Chief Ayuba Gufwan, in an exclusive interview with Adbn television said, "While progress has been made since the passage of the Disability Act, greater efforts are needed to make accessibility and inclusion a reality across the country." He stressed that accessibility goes beyond physical infrastructure, noting that persons with disabilities must also have equal opportunities to participate fully in national development.
Our desire is to build an all-inclusive Nigeria, that all these over 35 million Nigerians with disabilities will not suffer any form of disadvantage as a result of the challenges they are going through. We want a society that is 100% accessible. Many Nigerians with disabilities have told me that whenever they travel outside of this country, they forget that they are persons with disabilities. There is ability in disability, yes, but what is your agency doing? How many people do you have on your payroll as persons with disabilities? You know, if it is true that you believe there is ability in disability, then we need to see it on your...
Disability advocates say ending discrimination and creating equal access to education, jobs, and public services are critical to building a more inclusive society.
You know, the bill is coming up just 2018, but Nigeria has been in existence years and years back. So the biggest challenge is retrofitting, reconfiguring structures to provide for accessibility, which is, without missing of words, very, very capital intensive. And with the current paucity of funding, it is a big challenge. What has been lacking over time is not the ability, so to say, but that persons with disabilities have been excluded from daily scheme of things. So the Farm City is a very wonderful project that will provide significant employment across the length and breadth of this country for persons with disabilities.
They maintain that lasting progress will depend on fully implementing the Disability Act and removing barriers that continue to limit the participation of more than 35 million Nigerians living with disabilities. And now on business news, Nigeria's solid minerals exports have risen to 354 billion naira in 2025, up from 117.29 billion naira recorded in 2023, reflecting continued growth in the sector. Speaking at the maiden annual lecture of the Faculty of Physical and Earth Sciences at the University of Lagos, the Executive Secretary of the Solid Minerals Development Fund, Hajiya Fatima Shinkafi, attributed the increase to ongoing reforms aimed at boosting the sector's contribution to the national economy. Shinkafi said revenue to the Federation account has surpassed 70 billion naira, while the sector recorded 33.5% real growth in 2025. However, the reforms have attracted about $2.6 billion in new investment commitments, with the federal government targeting a 30 trillion naira solid minerals industry by 2030. According to Shinkafi, the reforms include measures to curb illegal mining, attract private investment, strengthen geological data, and promote sustainable development across the solid minerals value chain. The Federal High Court in Abuja has affirmed the authority of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, to investigate consumer complaints over airline ticket prices. Justice Binta Nyako dismissed a suit filed by Air Peace Limited's ruling that the FCCPC's power to investigate complaints does not amount to regulating or fixing airfares. The case stemmed from the Commission's request for information from Air Peace following complaints over sharp increases in domestic airfares in December 2024. The airline had argued that the FCCPC lacked the authority to investigate without presidential approval for price regulation. The court held that the Commission acted within its legal mandate. Reacting to the judgment, FCCPC Executive Vice Chairman Tunji Bello said the ruling strengthens the Commission's mandate to investigate market practices affecting consumers while maintaining that any price regulation must comply with the law. Trading on the Nigerian exchange closed the week with a marginal dip, with the all-share index shedding 56.13 points or 0.02% to settle at 243,902.60. Market capitalization declined by 36.02 billion naira to close at 156.51 trillion naira. Market breadth was negative, with 31 gainers, 33 losers, and 4 unchanged stocks. A total of 350.12 million shares valued at 15.71 billion naira were traded in 40,773 deals. On the gainers chart, Nigerian Infrastructure Debt Fund, NIDF, topped the list with a 10% gain to close at 148.50 naira, followed by international breweries, up 9.92% to close at 13.30, and NEM Insurance, which advanced 9.61% to close at 27.96. On the losers table, Thomas White, Nigeria, led with a 10% decline to close at 2.43 naira, while Guinness Nigeria PLC shed 9.99% to close at 329 naira, and Ikeja Hotel lost 9.96% to close at 42.58 naira. Still ahead, foreign, sports and entertainment news after the short break. Welcome back. On the foreign scene, at least 12 people have died in a wildfire in Almeria, southern Spain, while 19 others remain missing as firefighters continue efforts to bring one of the country's deadliest blazes under control. Authorities said most of the victims appeared to be foreign nationals who ignored instructions to shelter in place during the fast-moving fire. Officials say the flames spread rapidly through wooded areas around the town of Los Gallados, severely affecting the nearby hamlet Tubeda in the Andalusia region. Emergency officials said residents have been advised to remain in their homes, adding that many of the fatalities occurred when people attempted to escape the fire in the vehicles. Moving on, The Malawi says it has repatriated more than 38,000 of its citizens from South Africa within 1 month amid growing anti-migrant violence and unrest. Authorities said 6 people died from illness during the journey home as hundreds of buses transported returnees between June 7 and July 8. South Africa has witnessed weeks of protests targeting foreign nationals, with migrants accused of taking jobs and public resources. Police have also confirmed several deaths linked to the violence. The arrest has prompted citizens of several African countries, including Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda and Zimbabwe, to leave South Africa in search of safety. Indian police say dozens of people have been arrested following violent protests over the rape and murder of an 11-year-old girl in the eastern state of West Bengal. Authorities said one innocent person was lynched by an angry mob as protesters blocked roads and set vehicles ablaze after the girl's body was discovered in a pond in Barupur near Kolkata. She had been reported missing a day earlier. Police also confirmed that one of the 4 suspects arrested in connection with the rape and murder was shot dead while allegedly attempting to escape from custody. Investigations into the case are ongoing. And now to sport. Nigerian athletes who win medals at the 2026 Commonwealth Games will receive instant cash rewards from the National Sports Commission. Gold medalists will earn $3,000, silver medalists $2,000, and bronze medalists $1,000 immediately after their events. The leadership of the National Sports Commission announced the incentive at the news conference in Abuja on Friday. Our Abuja sports editor Samuel Adeleke reports.
The National Sports Commission says the Instant Reward Initiative is designed to motivate Team Nigeria athletes as they target a haul of 16 gold medals at the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games. Coaches of medal-winning athletes will also receive $5,000 in recognition of their contribution to the athletes' success.
You know, Nigeria, we always try to make this the conversation instead of trying to look at their performance and everything. But when they were here, they were in Riyadh. As she finished to get the gold medal, before she got to the dressing room, she collected the bonus for that particular event. Not the bonus for the event, just the sweat bonus, we call it. So we're going to do the same thing here. And I think we should leave the athletes on that, and I assure you that nobody will be owed anything. Everything is prepared, is sorted, and what have you. So there's we should focus more on the games, focus more on the results, focus more on getting our athletes to perform.
Some of Team Nigeria's athletes also expressed confidence in the country's medal prospects and outlined their expectations ahead of the games.
The Commonwealth Game is gonna be fun. It's gonna be like, you're going to see some elite performance and extraordinary performance. I'm assuring you, like, the 100 meters is going to be good, it's going to be fun.
I want to say a very big thank you to the National Sports Commission for giving us opportunity to be here, also giving me the opportunity to compete at the Commonwealth Games. I'm so happy and I'm grateful to God, and I promise you guys that I'm going to give my best.
Meanwhile, the National Sports Commission has also secured the Nigerian broadcast rights for the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games, ensuring that fans across the country will be able to watch the action live throughout the competition.
But for us, we have said times and number, the athletes first. We don't care what it's going to cost. It has to be about the athletes. In fact, sending the pictures of the Commonwealth Games to the homes is about the athletes. It's about ensuring that Fakoride's family are watching somewhere in Ondo State. Koinsola family is watching, they are watching somewhere in Lagos. The people in Anambra converge in the communities watching Miracle and Rosemary. The truth of the matter is, when you energize visibility and you energize content, you also energize the athletes. It's business for the athletes also.
Nigeria will compete in 10 sports and challenge for honors across 2 15-medal events at the Commonwealth Games, scheduled to take place in Glasgow from 23rd July to 2nd August. Samuel Adeleke, Adbn Television News.
Still in sport, coach Rudy Garcia says everyone expects Belgium to be eliminated by Spain in tonight's 2026 FIFA World Cup quarterfinal, but insists his side are capable of producing a famous upset. European champion Spain head into the clash in Los Angeles as overwhelming favourites, having yet to concede a goal in the tournament. Belgium, by contrast, enjoyed a more difficult route to the last 8, edging through the group stage after draws with Egypt and Iran before coming from behind to defeat Senegal in the round of 16. Speaking at his pre-match press conference, Garcia says he welcomed Belgium's underdog status and remained confident his players could overcome Spain. And now to entertainment news. Nigerian singer Tekno has revealed that a vocal cord damage forced him to step away from music at the peak of his career. In a recent interview, the singer said the condition was caused by acid reflux, leaving him unable to record or perform for several years. He explained that because he kept his health struggles private, many people wrongly assumed he had become lazy. Tekno said the experience took an emotional toll, causing him to lose his passion for music for a period. He added that reading inspirational books helped him recover emotionally and regain the motivation to return to his music career. Oscar-winning filmmaker Christopher Nolan has arrived in Mumbai for the Indian premiere of his latest film, The Odyssey, marking the first time one of his films will premiere in India. Nolan was accompanied by Tom Holland and producer Emma Thomas, while lead actor Matt Damon is also expected to join the promotional event. Based on Homer's classic Greek epic, The Odyssey stars Matt Damon as Odysseus and features an ensemble cast including Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, and Charlize Theron. The film has already generated strong interest in India, with premium IMAX tickets selling out in major cities ahead of its release. And that's all we have for you tonight on the news. Remember to watch us live on DSTV channel 258, on Star Time channel 140, Evo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website at www.adbntv.com. You can also watch us live from every part of the world by logging on to www.adbntv.com/live. I am Princess AKZ. Good evening and thanks for watching.